I was telling you yesterday over the chat that I was watching this show called For All Mankind.
Yeah, what was that again?
So it's a show about the U.S. space race.
Oh, yeah.
In the 1960s. It starts in the 1960s.
But
The first episode opens up with like everybody's like, oh, it's the day of the moon landing. Mm-hmm. Everyone get to a TV, get to the bar, show all the people, it's a big event. Everyone's watching it, and they show the reporter, oh, we got the live feed, and they show it. We're coming down the ladder, and the person goes up in front of the camera, and then you see like a Russian flag on their fucking thing, and they start speaking Russian, and everyone's like, Russia beat us. So the whole show is kind of predicated on the idea that Russia got to the moon first, and that lights a fire under America's ass to kind of keep the space race going.
Oh, the space race.
Yeah.
And so is it like historically accurate or up to a point? Like who's president in this world, this topsy-turvy world?
So JFK was not killed, apparently.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, JFK did not get killed before the moon thing.
And he just kept fucking and socking.
At one point, early in the first season, he pardons Nixon.
Oh, shit.
There's like a phone call between them. It's like, Richard, I want to tell you, I'm going to pardon you. And he's like, I don't need that from you. I don't accept it. Like a whole political opponent type thing was going on. Yeah. But so it was fascinating because, the Russians get to the moon first. And then the U.S. is like, fuck, we're made to look like bitches. So they go there next. And Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, like, fuck up the moon landing and end up all crooked.
Oh, really?
And almost crash the damn thing. And then so...
Did they live?
They lived, yeah. But not before some suspense.
Oh, really?
No communication.
Are they crippled? Do they have their entire bodies remaining?
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay.
They clipped a wing, as they put it.
Okay.
They clipped a wing. But so this whole thing being like, okay, now Russia sends a woman to land on the moon. Okay, so now we got to send
what?
I know, free bleeding in a fucking in the lem. Hell no.
You sure about that?
Why would you press those sounds?
Yeah. So as soon as like they start this whole landing competition back and forth, then they're like, all right, well, we got to find ice. So they try to find ice, and they land in a spot, and they're like, well, we're going to land different from where we're supposed to because, we got to beat Russia now.
Yeah.
And so then they land at a crater, find some ice. Russia lands at the same crater. And now you got this situation where nobody else is really on the moon but you and Russia now because they have the little bases. Mm-hmm. But up until then, you didn't need locks on the door. People would, like, your shit was just left alone, and you just leave stuff out there. But as soon as Russia is also up there, then there's this whole other element of like, oh, fuck, they're spying on us.
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking with our drilling sites. I just find it fascinating. Being like, cool, we got this new unexplored territory, and now we need locks. We need to put locks on the fucking doors.
And speaking of space stuff, aren't those astronauts kind of stuck in space
They're
for a
not
little while?
stuck.
Well, they keep saying they're stuck. Like they can't bring them down right now. Like they're in that. They have to. No. They have to repair the the docking mechanism. So they can't get them down for, I think, another month or something like that. Did you not read about that?
The only thing I was hearing about was the Starliner capsule still leaking. It's like Boeing's capsule had a helium leak.
And is this the one where the astronauts are on the space station?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's currently hooked up. That's like the most recent one that went up to the space station.
But they were only supposed to go up for a month, is what I read.
Yeah, it was supposed to be about a month.
And now it's like 3-4 months?
Yeah, that's also not crazy
You
unusual.
sound exactly like fucking NASA. You don't give a shit, do you? You're like, man, they're expendable. What the fuck?
It's not even
You don't
that.
give a shit. Start playing this anyway. All right, we've grieved enough. All right, time over. Time to move on. All right, Ellen.
No, it's they can bring them down if they want to. The thing can still undock and it can still, all you got. The helium that they use is pretty much just to like pressurize the other tanks.
Uh-huh.
But you also use other gases for that too.
Okay. Well, I heard there was docking issues. Maybe I'm not as informed.
I haven't heard about the docking issues, but I can look into it. I'll report back with my findings.
Do you remember that time that there was the wasn't it the docking of the space station, and so you played docking while you were playing the docking game and watching the docking footage?
Yeah.
That was the hat trick there of docking for sure.
Yeah, nothing about a docking port being damaged.
Maybe it was Don Dawkin went up there. That's what I read. Don Dawkin is up there. He's just jamming. We're the Dream Warriors.
Dude, Freddy Krueger bought them houses.
He sure did. Well, that was the subplot, and it was the long-term goal of Freddy, was to undermine the value of the neighborhood with murder and destruction of the houses, buy it up in a swath, and then develop it for vacation homes.
Vacation homes,
office properties, parking lots, Holocaust denial centers. You start your own Holocaust denial center. Learn the truth.
But have completely different points.
Yeah, give your alternate history.
Yeah, the denial bit of the Holocaust was that it didn't happen in Poland. It was actually over in Japan. It's like it's still a bad thing, but it's inconsequential if you really think about it.
Oh, man.
That is one of the themes in that show is the astronauts get stranded on the moon there for a while.
Yeah.
And so one of them, just because like there's all this, rocket explodes on the pad, so they're like, we can't send you another until like the FAA tells us we're good to fly again. So then one guy ends up losing his mind a little bit because, you know, you're on the moon. You're alone, same fucking everything all the time. And so he's losing his mind a little bit. And they're like, well, we got to get this guy home somehow. But if we tell NASA that he's gone mentally insane, he's going to lose his pilot's license, he's never going to fly again.
Yeah.
So then this lady drops a heavy-ass battery and breaks her arm so that she's the reason they get to go home.
Oh, gotcha.
That's one of those things where it feels like that's more of a writer's room type thing versus like
real world. They'd be like, no, we have to think of something else. You'd be like, break my arm. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
You insane?
No, we're just going to tell them that you're not fit to fly anymore. We got to get you home.
We have to follow protocol.
Yeah. So there's some liberties taken with it, but it's so far a pretty interesting show.
And what's it called again?
For All Mankind.
For All Mankind.
Yeah.
Instead of one small step, what do they say? They say one small step for comrade, one giant step for borscht portions.
Yeah, I think the Russian dude said something about for the lifestyle of the Marxism.
Oh,
yeah. It was a really corporate thing.
For the motherland.
Yeah.
Right?
And then when Neil and Buzz finally landed, they said something to the effect of, that was a rough one.
They kick over the Russian flag, break it in half.
Wipe their butt with it. Can't get it through the suit.
Well, it was all faked anyway, so, you know.
And, you know, that was one of the things in that show I was wondering there for a while, too, is just Russia telling you guys they did all this and you're having to overcompensate. They kind of had you guessing for a little bit, which was pretty cool. You didn't know if Russia had actually landed there.
You see Kubrick walking out of the launch control area.
Yeah.
Like, something's going on here.
But with a production like that where you're trying to simulate, like, being in space or, you know, reduced moon gravity on an Apple TV budget, there's a couple things where it looks a little funky. Like, there's a moment where two guys on the moon get in like a little bit of a scuffle inside the moon base, and they're walking around relatively normally because they're forgetting they're just acting. Mm-hmm. So they're walking around like you would on Earth, but then there's this little fight that starts to happen, and this guy grabs the other one and it gets thrown so hard and violently against the ceiling. It just made no sense compared to the rest of the movement. Like, you just...
Did they speed it up a little bit or something? Or
No, they had him on wires.
Oh, and just pulled him back all sick.
Really hard, yeah. Yeah.
Well, hopefully everybody comes down safely.
I hope so.
So how many seasons? Is this like a brand new show? Or
No, it's been going for several years. I think there's like 5 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just got a little trial for Apple TV so I could peer in and blast on through it while I have all these fucking nights to myself right now.
Ah, that's cool. get some watching in.
Yeah, you can only goon for so long.
Yeah, right. You can only go to the gooner's paradise every once in a while, right?
Yeah.